Hello. So, we emerged from the gallery and whoa, I just got a message that said encoding overloaded. I think it's fine because the message went away. Anyways, we left and I saw another work of art, which is the thing that annoys me most of all, of ever, when they just spell English words with Japanese characters that look like the English letters. This is the yen symbol and mo, and I don't even think this is a character. Stupid. I got so mad. But maybe it's a good restaurant for all I know. And we saw this building. I thought it looked really weird, so I took a picture of it. It's kind of like brutalist, but it's like all windows instead of no windows. But it's like, even though it's all windows, every one of those windows kind of sucks. So I don't know. I have no idea what building this was. Then we saw another work of art, which was this Jeep that was just completely covered in little cartoon penises. Everywhere. On the front, there was even some more. Yeah. Dylan for Prez. Dylan die, maybe, in a heart. So I assume the dude who drives this Jeep is called Dylan. And he is in for a fun surprise. This was a gigantic University of Concordia building. That looked really nice. Really nice, sleek, modern design. School of Business, though, so... sponsored by Molson, the Molson School of Business. I guess they are a real prominent business family in Canada. It's just kind of funny because you think of them as, like, beer folk. We stopped at a little bakery that's in the local subway station. I had passed it many times, but I had never really thought to stop because either I was heading out somewhere and I just wanted to go there, or I was coming back from somewhere and I was kind of tired and I was just like, whatever. But yeah, we got two little pastries. They were both pretty great. I got the pane of chocolate and Cole got the pane of apples. And then I also got this little Pear Williams liqueur chocolate. And I've had Pear William before, and it was like a jam. So I thought this would be dark chocolate filled with that kind of jam, which would be great. But it was actually just filled with pear liquor, and it exploded all over my shirt because it was just full of liquid. But it was still very tasty. I was just surprised. Then I was going to make carbonara for dinner, and I thought this looked really scary. The... way the element was reflected in these little protective tinfoil wrappers. It looked like a volcano or something. Here's the carbonara. I love making carbonara. It's one of the dishes I think I'm best at. It's not that it's really hard to make or anything, but it's like not hard to make, but it's easy to screw up, if that makes sense. But once you like kind of know what you're doing, it's a pretty simple dish, and it's very, very tasty. And then in the morning, I just had that cooking fever. I made eggs Benedict. I gotta learn how to plate stuff better. This, I think, is like the worst possible plating for what is actually a very delicious and high-effort dish. But it's a dish I've gotten used to making. We have it at home a lot. It's kind of fun to make, even though it is a lot of work. But it turned out really well. The hollandaise was perfect. Perfect ratio of yolk and butter, perfect consistency. I just wish I had a little lemon juice. I didn't get lemon juice. Also, I didn't get English muffins. I couldn't find them because this is French zone. Anyways, so I used brioche, but the brioche toast was actually really good with the English muffin. I think that's like a winner. I might even do that at home sometime. Then we head out again, do some stuff, do some shopping, do some bumming around. Saw these murals that I really, really liked. There was quite a few of these, all with this theme of cartoon characters kind of morphing into something, having a hard time of it. This one was really cool. The same artist, I assume. Kind of reminds me of like Matt Fury's work, some of his really kind of psychedelic hallucinatory stuff, where it's all these kind of like squiggly, wormy, they seem like they're moving even though they're still kind of things. This one's probably my favorite just because I love good old Garf. And I love how how accurately Garfield is depicted here with his like canonical appearance. And then he just like warps into Odie. Something is happening. I like that I got him in the reflection too. I've been looking at paintings for so long that I was like, ooh, what a nice job the artist did capturing Garfield's reflection in the hood of the car. No. That's just... Anyways, I said, yo, Cole, get a picture of me in front of Garf. I tried to look cool. I wanted to kind of look cool. But my hair just got in my face. And Cole wanted a picture in front of Garf too. Cole looks a lot cooler. I should have just thrown up the deuces. That's a classic. There's the Homer. Having a good time. Kind of smeared out. So I was talking to my friend who lives around here about this, about the war between muralists and graffiti artists and building owners, where building owners, as a way to counteract the possibility of graffiti, which could be like rude or intimidating or off-putting or whatever, will commission big street murals with the hope that graffiti artists won't tag them after that. Of course, evidently they do. And you get, kind of the own flavor of the type of person that would do that, creates their own sort of graffiti. And I almost think it almost backfires because it's like the graffiti that you want, so to speak, which is like the higher effort, really kind of captivating stuff. Those sorts of people, I think, are the least likely to go over an existing mural, and instead are going to go for a totally blank spot. And instead you get the more low effort, just some dude with a black spray can. Maybe it backfires, I don't know. I actually think it looks kind of cool, having a big established mural and then random graffiti on top of it, which eventually will pile on until the entire mural is covered up. I think that's just like a really cool, like, emergent art scene, that kind of battle going on. Anyways, as we have seen in the previous 6 episodes, there's a lot of pictures of graffiti and street murals. Here's another street mural. This goat, who is indeed a stiff boy. I saw a lot of stiff boy graffiti. I saw quite a bit of loot, too. I just like the more time you spend in the city, you start recognizing prominent graffiti artists. There's this lady over here as well. There's this guy. Scary. Got a runny nose. Sure. Aha! And then this wolf kanji. I'm pretty sure it's wolf. At first I thought it was severe when I looked it up. But then Sarah, shout out Sarah, who is fluent, pointed out that the angle of this indicates whether it's like a Chinese character or a Japanese character, and that this is Japanese, and thus it means wolf. So it was an animal after all. I'm much happier at being wolf than like severe. So this was a graffiti that I've been looking for everywhere around the city, and I've seen it quite a few times, and I think I've taken a picture of it each time. This was a cool street mural. I love the color scheme of it. I'm still in like the analyzing gallery type mode. But yeah, really neat. I really like how the natural growth of these crawling vines integrates into the street art. This is another tag that I've seen around the city. 333. And what it means to me, of course, is on Godspeed You Black Emperor's first release, which just recently surfaced on the internet and now actually has an official digital release. They've just embraced it and are like, here you go. There's a lot of track names and symbolism on the tape that are all like 333, 333, 333 frames per second, 333. Yeah, I think this is totally reasonable. Anyways, not to get into the whole discourse around this, but I've seen this graffiti around. And the font is like kind of similar, and the vertical positioning is similar. So I don't know if this is like a Godspeed You fan, or if there's some other 333 thing that both Godspeed, or more accurately, as we just saw on Wikipedia, Ephraim Solo and this graffiti artist are pointing to. What does it mean? 333. So we walked through like a very heavily graffitied area. It was kind of cool. We saw a lot of it because I got lost. Or not like lost, but I kept saying, oh, we turn this way. And then we'd walk like 50 feet. And I'd be like, we're going the wrong way. Which always makes me feel bad and feel like an idiot because I can't read maps very well and I have very poor spatial awareness. But on the other hand, we got to see a lot of graffiti because we kept going in every direction from every intersection. So that was kind of cool. That made me feel good. Just look at this. Look at how thoroughly tagged this entire area is. I love it. I love it. Of note is this one here, Walking for Missing Sisters. I don't know what this is exactly. I assume it's to do with the abduction of Native women, or something along those lines. I guess we can find out. Yeah, like I think it's all to do with this for the missing and murdered Indigenous women. So we saw a few of these around, and one area there was like a long string of messages relating to this march, and then they'd been like totally defaced. I don't think I took pictures of this because I thought it was just, I don't know, it's kind of upsetting. They'd been defaced by a lot of people writing stuff that were like, down with feminazis, radical feminism is anti-men, radical feminism is the downfall of civilization. It was crap like that. And then there was yet another wave of people putting like Antifa stickers and stuff on top of these counter slogans. So it was like 3 layers of discourse happening. I was talking to Richard, shout out Richard, aforementioned as local friend, I think. And he's like, oh yeah, that sort of battle is like always happening here. He was showing us these stickers that said, queers against cancel culture, which is like just so many layers of discourse being represented at once. Here the fight is truly happening from all sides. It's not just like a right and left thing. It's a, you know, every political ideology is in contest with every other sub-ideology. Really cool. Cool? Is that the word I want? Fascinating. This is a series of totally tagged up underpass supports. This is just an area that I think municipally they're like, yep, this is where you do graffiti. Have at it. For all I know, some of these are actually sponsored by the city. I know that sort of thing does happen, but it's really cool. Just a really cool effect. And then, I don't know if I took a picture of it, but like kind of behind me right now is a skate park. And there's actually people out skating in the middle of winter, which was cool. This was some renovation center. You know, you buy wood and stuff. They had a totem pole, which I thought was interesting. There it is. More graffiti. Ah, it's the wolf again. That's why I took this picture. This was... Cole pointed out that there was another video game trivia thing. I think it was that Kirby has a cameo appearance in... Now I can't remember. It was about a Kirby cameo. And it was one that I had heard of before. But now I can't think of what it was. I tried to get a picture of it, but it changed. Then later, me and Cole met up with Richard. Our plan was to go to this famous deli, Lester's, I believe. But it closed early that day for unknown reasons. And then we just kind of started wandering around to see what else was to eat around there. This is Saint Viateur, a very, very, very famous bagel place that pretty much every day I've been here, my mom has been asking me, did you go get bagels yet? Gotta go to Saint Viateur. She loves these bagels so much that she has them delivered to her place, her swamp fortress in rural Ontario. frozen, and then she just heats them up through the year. And just recently, she started making bagels herself from scratch that are supposed to be close to the recipe used at St. Viateur. That's how much she loves these bagels. We didn't actually end up eating here because I wanted to get like a sandwich or something. We thought maybe they had sandwiches, but no, they were just selling the bagels at this location. But they had this really cool wall of like publicity, just an overwhelming force of history of over a century of making bagels in this spot. Amazing. Amazing. Then we ended up going to this pita place. I got a falafel pita. I took this kind of grotesque shot of it. But it was really good. We got pitas and fries. The fries are really good, really spiced. And some homemade lemonade, which was fantastic. And we talked about rap music and movies and conspiracy theories and wrestling and MMA. And it was a great time. I always love when I can bring one friend to meet another friend and then they really get along. And this one is like really deep, that Richard is my friend from university who's kind of in a separate friend group from a lot of my other friends. And then Cole I know through Ashley's boyfriend. So it's like a 5 chain to get from Cole to Richard, right? Cole, Alex, Ashley, me, Richard. Yeah. And yet they got along great. It's fantastic. So then we were walking back to the subway. I saw this building, which I thought was interesting in that they've totally encased it in chain link fence as a way of protecting it from vandalism and stuff, I guess. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's what's going on there. More graffiti. Just thought this was like a good wall, I guess. Another good example of like they had a street mural and now the street mural is bit by bit losing out to the graffiti again. The circle of life. This is really blurry, but there's this. I saw a few of these posters of the Dragon Quest slime, and then it said Mad Angels, as if it was like a gang. What? I have no clue what that means, but I got this blurry picture of it. Found more graffiti that says Laos. I think it must be the same artist as the previous Laos. But then this also says Laos 18, I think. This was from, it's like an overpass highway you can walk on. It's the fastest way to get to the subway. So you're walking along that and get a really cool perspective of the city, looking at all these rooftops of warehouses and stuff. There was this big building. We were trying to figure out what it was. It has this gigantic mural on the side. We figured it must be like tech offices or something. Back here we got some ACAB graffiti. You'll love to see it. So this was the next day, I think. Yeah, because I got dinner with Cole and Richard. Then the next day Cole went home. I guess I didn't take any pictures of that. Whatever, bye Cole. And then that night I was craving pho, so I got some pho delivered, and it was very, very good. The broth was great. The meat was great. The toppings were all great. They gave you a lot of onion, which I like. It's they give you much more onion than most pho places. But yeah, I demolished this. I gobbled this down. I made a mistake though, and I've never made this mistake before with pho. Like I've gotten pho takeout quite a few times. Maybe I've never had it delivered. But I should have let the broth cool off a bit. Okay, so pho, as you know, has like very rare or sometimes totally uncooked beef. And then you pour in the boiling broth, or the close to boiling broth, and it cooks the beef right there in the sauce, or the broth. But I think I should have waited a bit, because it actually overcooked the beef. So that was my bad. This is right after I put the broth in. I haven't started eating it yet. You can see the beef is still nice and pink. But yeah, I put it in too soon, I guess. It was too hot. It got too cooked. But yeah, it was really tasty. And I got some spring rolls. Spring rolls just always hit. You know, that is what it is. Dang, I kind of want this again. Oh, man, I love pho. I was saying this to Jen before. Shoutouts, Jen. Because me and her would get pho pretty often from this place. Pho. Shoutouts Pho in Waterloo. It's phenomenal. That like I love ramen, I love a lot of other noodle soups, but they're so like rich that I can only have them once in a while. But pho, I think I could eat pho like every day. It's just so refreshing, but meaty, but light, but rich, but subtle, but like intense and addictive. I don't know. There's nothing else like it. Then I got this beer, Du de Ciel. This was a brewery that my friend George always liked, and you would find the LCBOs where they imported it. And I think he imported it himself one time. You can like order it online or whatever. So I was really excited to get some while I was in Quebec, where it's from. So I got this one that shows octopus fighting some head footer type figure, and it was good. It was a, again, very sour, bitter IPA. With that, I had a bit of a feast. I got a promotion at work, Jajan, which is partially why there hasn't been an episode in a while, and why there's been a few days with like almost no pictures. Is I've been kind of busy with like the ramping up to promotion stuff. It worked out well with the timing of Cole leaving, because I didn't have to do a lot of work when he was here. Anyways, I was hungry, I was in a celebratory mood, so I got a feast of curry chicken katsu, the curry sauce I haven't added yet, fried tofu with a chili oil sauce, tom yum soup, which I was surprised to see on the menu because it's not Japanese. That's like a Thai dish, I'm pretty sure. But I hadn't had tom yum soup in quite a while, and suddenly I was like, ooh, that would really hit. And a cream cheese tea, and everything was delicious. I don't know if I have much to say about it. The curry was thinner than I'm used to, and there is some stuff in the katsu, or in the don, sorry, that surprised me. Like, you can see corn here, and then there was like a lot of cabbage. Like, often you get cabbage as a side dish with curry, that you can eat it as like contrast. But here, everything was just blended together with the rice. And then I put the sauce on it. Maybe you're supposed to just dip the katsu in the sauce. I don't know. But it was really, really good. Everything mixed together with the thinner sauce. Yeah, fantastic. Good place. This morning I noticed, it must have happened a few days ago, but I only noticed this morning that one of the many plants around the apartment had bloomed. So this turned out pretty nicely, I think. This picture of the bloom with the kind of like bouquet fridge. You can see this dude travels a lot and has all sorts of traveling memorabilia on his fridge. Also, I love this. I didn't take a picture of it directly because I thought that would be kind of creepy. But there's some children's artwork on the fridge. I just love seeing children's artwork. So that was a nice surprise. Another picture of it. La la la. So I headed out again today for some shopping and adventures. Gonna meet up with Richard. Thought this was a good shot. It was snowing a little bit as I was leaving, but you will see that doesn't last long. It had been snowing all night. Everything was all piled up. You can see this car barely. They were out blowing and shoveling and plowing the streets. It was a flurry of activity, only matched by the flurries of snow that were still pelting down around Montreal. This shot I thought was nice. It's very hard to capture snow in the sky, though, you know? In a photo. So, I believe I took... No, not yet. But I did take at some point a video that I think conveys it a little better. This was kind of interesting. There was this whole crowd gathered around. And I think what had been happening is they had been spending a long time rescuing this van from the snow. And as I was passing, they were actually able to maneuver it where it needed to go. And everybody cheered, and that was cool. So I'm not really sure what's happening here. Looks like they're making some sort of delivery. But classic Canadian scene of a group of strangers or acquaintances or employees or who knows what banding together to get a car out of the snow. Many such cases. This I thought was some interesting street art. Kind of spooky. I was walking back into Miles End, which is one of the big prominent Jewish neighborhoods, which is where we had gone to try to go to the deli. And today me and Richard were going to go to a different deli. I just thought this was a nice mix of stuff. It was like a little school, daycare kind of thing. this convenience store had a whole lot of weird stuffed animals and like masks and stuff in its window. I find the variety stores here are far more varied than they are in Ontario. And then another one of these weird missing building scenarios with tons and tons of graffiti in places that seem impossible. Yeah, just a cool scene. Here's someone driving around with snow all over their car, and I took a disapproving photograph. I just like this park too. I like the big pines. I like these ornate gates. Little parkettes. I thought this was kind of funny. It just seems to be like a placard that's like, there's snow here. And you're like, oh, true. You can see this arc in the background with nice little pines. Lovely, lovely. This was a building that was so deep in the sauce of both mural and graffiti. It had the feeling to me of somebody that has like a full sleeve tattoo, and up near the shoulder it's like dense with stuff, and then as you go down the arm it gets a little sparser because you want to have a presentable forearm maybe. Anyways, yeah, I really like the street art. I couldn't really tell what this building was. I think maybe it used to be a bar, but they had just this wild kind of surrealistic stuff going on here. Again, a little bit of a Matt Furet vibe, and then lots of big tags along the bottom, which is kind of cool. It just makes everything feel a bit more situated, you know? That it's in this kind of 3D layering of different eras of art. On another part of the building, there was this cat. I love this cat. And there's a little skull. Good skull. I passed a cell phone repair store where for some reason in the window they had a mannequin with a beard and a polo shirt, or something close to polo, who was pretending to repair a phone. And I could not figure out what this was meant to do in terms of getting customers. But I guess I looked at it, and I'm talking about it, and I'm advertising this place. So it worked. Alright, now I get it. There's the wolf again. Spotted. This was some sort of children's art program. I really like the mix of stuff going on here. I like it when there's a display of children's work, and then there's very clearly like the teacher's work, or some adult. Like this and this, I think, are very clearly made by a different age group than this. But seeing them all presented together, I think, is really charming, right? That it kind of shows, like... I'm not really sure what it shows, but it's charming. I love it. Hey, look, it's me. Hee hee. This was just a shot. This is when it started getting snowy. Of these big, big buildings in the distance. I don't know what they were. Getting really snowy now. As I said, it's kind of hard to capture the volume of snow in the air in a photograph, but you can tell. These cars are saturated with falling flakes. There's another shot of this building. No clue what this is. Huge, huge building. Very intimidating. I wasn't going to tromp through the snow and read whatever this says to find out. Here is a picture of my thumb. Here it is without my thumb. I think I'm just trying to capture, you know, you can see in the distance, things are getting very, very snowy. But not that blowy. Yeah. And this looks bad, right? And it was pretty bad. Like, I got completely covered in snow within minutes of it starting to snow like this. But it wasn't that windy, actually. So it had kind of the, you know, when it just kind of like showers rain. It was like the snow version of that. Where it wasn't that windy and it wasn't that cold. There was just a lot of snow in the air. Just a lot of precipitation. So it was actually kind of neat to walk around like this. Here's a... Ooh, add to Cole in Montreal. I made a little album to send to Cole so you could have pictures. Ah, here we go. I knew I took a video. But yeah, in terms of sheer volume, this was among the most snow I've ever experienced. But it was nowhere near the worst walking in snow experience I've ever had. It was just pouring snow. Here's another shot. The draw distance has been turned way the F down. Just all snow. This was a store that was closing. Merci Mile We had a great time here. Pleasure to engage with the curious, the brave, the lovely. Those who have eyes to see. I don't know what this place was, but they support a lot of good causes. And they had this weird big bird. And, yeah. Whatever it was good. Goodbye. Here's another video of falling snow. So I was, texting with Richard. It's like, damn, it looks pretty wild out there. I'm like, well, yeah, it is, but it's not that bad. I'm still up for meeting up if you want to meet up. In fact, I'm like already out there. So I don't know if I guilted him into it or what, but he's like, all right, yeah, I'll head out too. We met up soon after. This was like an alleyway. I just thought this looked cool with the amount of snow piling up. But this was a very awkward picture to take because someone was walking down the street. I'm like, oh, I want to take a picture, so I'm going to get out of the way. I stepped into this alley, and then this person just kind of stops, and we're just kind of like looking at each other. And then like finally it dawns on me, oh, they need to go into the alley. So I get out of the way. and then because I don't want to take a picture of them walking down the alley, because that would be kind of weird, I had to wait for them to get all the way down and around the corner. But I think it was worth it. I think this is kind of a cool shot. So then I got to the deli where we were going to meet up, and it was closed. We're just having the worst luck with delis. So yeah, they're just on like hard vacation today. If we had come the next day that they were open, we would have been Gucci. So yeah, this is another kind of legendary deli. I took a picture of their menu. Their special is this thing called the Wilinsky Special. That's Wilinsky's. Sandwich me with all beef salami and all beef bologna with mustard and grilled on a roll. Making them since 1932. Look at how cheap it is. Where in the world are we? Did they set these prices in 1932 too? No, it would have been like a quarter back then. Yeah, dude, it looked really good. I wanted to go, but it was closed. So we're going to try going again. Yeah, too bad. The worst luck with delis. This I just thought was a nice street. And then it turns out Richard wanted to go to the store, and we ended up meeting up right outside of the store, so that worked out well. Yeah, I like this shot. You can see it stopped snowing. It became like crystal clear after a little bit, which is wild. Then I saw this store across the street called like the Pinkita. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'll check it out. And it turned out to be the world's only pink museum, as explained to me by the owner, a charming middle-aged Korean man who very excitedly showed me all sorts of stuff and talked to me about the history of it. Chez Pinkita, that's what it was called, Pinkita. Everything was pink. Well, not literally everything, but the things that could be pink were pink. They had all sorts of merch from all around the world. All sorts of little eccentricities and stuff. He's telling me about this painting. It was by some famous Japanese contemporary artist. He said it cost $1,000. I said, that's cool. I don't know. I feel it's like, I love to meet people that are so passionate about stuff like this. I love when they're so excited to show off this collection they've made, this space they've created. But at the same time, I always feel like immensely awkward that I don't know what I'm supposed to say or do. I don't think of myself as an awkward person in general, but there's acute situations that because I'm not used to them, because I can't autopilot them, suddenly I become like super self-conscious. Anyways, we ended up having a nice conversation despite that. Who is this? As he showed me his pink palace, Oink's pink palace. Shout out to Oink fans. He had these pink fish. Everything pink. The pink print. Boris is pink. He was like, people love to take pictures in here. Do you want me to take your picture? I was like, all right, sure. So I'll hop up on this. Oh yeah, and these were all functional too. This place is also a functional laundromat. He was like, yeah, these things have been working since the 40s. That's like one of the kind in the world too. So, man, that's awesome. So he said, take your mask off, and I was like, all right. Felt a little weird taking my mask off in stores, but you know, it's for the photo op. So here I am sitting on the pink washer. So much pink stuff. My Little Pony. Some Dragon Ball manga that happens to have a pink cover. Velvet Underground pink album. Pink plushies. Pink pony. Everything pink. It was a pretty cool place. I was wearing my pink fake Burberry scarf, so I fit right in. Everything else is like black or dark blue though. Here I am again, trying to do kind of a cute pose. And pink laundry baskets, black backpack, because that's mine. Here I am, hanging out with the machine. He had some suggested photo spots and poses and stuff. He showed me other pictures that some people climb into the machine for a photo op. And I was like, I'm not going to fit in there. But yeah, I don't know. He was so excited. And as far as I know, you know, this is separate from any sort of money-making endeavor. Showing off everything and asking people if they want their pictures and stuff. Here you can see my prime objective. A bunch of haichu. They had this passion fruit haichu. Here we can look at it. We can do a taste test. We can flip up the genre a little bit here. Oh, I got this too. I got this at the Drawn and Quarterly store. It's a local comics zine that had an interview with Simon Hanselman. So I was very excited about that. 1 second. Oh, I just realized the fridge is open. The fridge doesn't stay closed very well. I got a snack between making these videos, so it hasn't been terribly long, but that's still bad. Oh, and I got these socks. Okay, let's switch to scene 2. I got these socks at a store me and Richard went to called, it doesn't say, I think it was called the Annex Shop, but it had just like a nice variety of like gifty stuff and consignment clothes and yeah, some socks, because I'm always running out of socks. I'll show you the zine again now that it's in full camera mode. It also has a very long segment on Tezuka, the god of manga, which seemed interesting, and it's got like comics right in there. Yeah, the Drawing and Quarterly store was awesome. It just lived up to my hype. Passion Fruit Haichu. I had never seen this before today, and then we ended up seeing it in 2 stores today, which is kind of wild. So let's try one. Open it. It doesn't have the normal tab thing that usually you can open stuff, open haichus with. Wow, it really smells like passion fruit. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. It uses the same trick as the kiwi haichu, which I also bought, where they put little chia seeds in there to simulate the texture of eating the actual fruit. I also got a bag of the berry mix. I like the berry mix a lot. I think the prices were a little expensive compared to where like getting these at like the Asian grocery store. That's some peach haichu too. These are the Chinese haichu, by the way. That's why the packaging looks different. And as a bonus, he gave me this Flower Kiss candy. But, you know, it's the Pink store. I didn't mind paying a little more at the Pink store. One more shot of me. Everything pink this summer. It's the winter, but whatever. Yeah. Look at all this stuff. My gosh. It's so pink. I loved it. I showed Ashley and she said this just comes across as like cluttered and dirty and I really don't like it, but That's her. I love it. This is, notably, the first Toho product I have seen in my entire time in Montreal. Even though we went to all these weeb stores, even though we've been scouring everywhere for Nendroids, I didn't see a single Toho product until right now in the Pink Store. That's the miracle of the Pink Store. I have no idea why they're selling these little Toho handbag clasp things, but there they are. Yeah, more pink stuff. I don't know what else to say. So you said people will come in and donate pink things, and then I'll display them. I think that's so cool. I don't think I have anything suitable to donate among the stuff I brought with me to Montreal, but I wish I did. This bouquet of pink roses suspended from the ceiling fan. Notably not pink. I think maybe he would paint these pink, but whatever. More pink. Everything pink. I spent quite a while chatting with this guy and exploring his store and taking pictures. Really friendly guy. And he had, when I said, "Oh, I'm from Waterloo," he's like, "Oh, Waterloo University." His nephew had just graduated from there a bit ago. So I said, congrats to your nephew. It's a tough school. More pink. They had the Assassination Classroom volume that was pink. And you know, I really like that not everything is pink. Like this Pusheen one, there's pink highlights. Actually, this is foreshadowing. You'll see. But, you know, there's stuff that's predominantly blue or teal or whatever, just to make the pink seem even more pink. There's a lot of waving cats, too. We were talking about the waving cat and Japanese temples and animal shrines in Shinto and stuff. Talking about dog shrines. We were both fans of dog shrines. Yeah, Chez Pinkita. Fantastic. Highly recommend. Also a laundromat. Does it all. This is Fairmount Bagel. So I hadn't met up with Richard yet, but I was like, yeah, Wilinsky's is closed. What's the plan B? He said, oh, there's a Fairmount Bagel. This is like the other. Saint Vature and Fairmount are in like a century-long rivalry of who has the best bagels. And he was like, scope it out. Maybe they'll do sandwiches. They didn't do sandwiches. Same deal as Saint Vature. They just sell you bagels. But it was pretty cool, you know, 100 years of selling bagels. This was a poster I keep seeing around called The Story of the Writer Who Didn't Know How to Write or Read.com. I don't know what the heck it is. I finally remembered to take a picture of it so I could look it up later. And we'll look it up later. I would look it up now, but this video is already getting very long. I saw this cool street art of McDonald's and cacti. Sure, look at how blue the skies are now, by the way. It's the same day, within an hour, I think, of those snow videos I was taking. This is after I met up with Richard. Pretty sure this is Richard here. And we explored around for a place to eat. Did some shopping, drawn in quarterly. I really like this shot of a big church in the distance. Just the blueness of the sky after all that. Here's another shot of the same church. I don't know what the heck denomination this is. Looks weird, right? It looks kind of like Russian Orthodox with these like big mounds and stuff. Here's the Saint Vature bagel truck, kind of out of its home turf. We went around back into an alley to eat some banh mi's that we got. It was at the banh mi shop that I saw these passion fruit haichu for the second time in my life and the second time today. This is a really good banh mi. I got braised pork, so it had like this really sweet, savory barbecue sauce on like shredded pork, which isn't typically what you get on banh mi. You know, normally it's like pate and like sliced parboiled pork, I guess, or sous vide pork or whatever, kind of like the pork you get in ramen. But this was really nice, and the baguette was like so crusty and big. Like it really shows like the origins of this dish in the intersection between Vietnam and colonial France. You know? I think I've said this before and then I kind of regretted it, but I'll say it again. Colonization, yes. A great evil. Certainly no one, well, not no one, but no one with a conscience wishes it would have happened. But we must acknowledge the amazing effect on cuisine that colonization has had. Where else would we get something like the banh mi? Oh, it was so good. This was in the Drawn and Quarterly store. They had this adorable little Moomin display. If these items were for sale, I would have bought many perhaps, especially these selection of Moomin Pez dispensers. Fantastic. But it was just for display. And I already have all the Moomin books. Then we went to this donut shop. That's what I said about foreshadowing. I got the Simpson donut, labeled the Simpson donut. They had all sorts of elaborate ones, but I had to go for the classic. Here it is. It was a much brighter pink. I think just the coloring, because of the sky color, makes the pink not stand out so well. But anyways, it was very, very good. Yeah, really, really tasty. Nice, subtle strawberry cream. We went back up on the overhead highway walking trail thing to get back to the subway. This I just thought was a nice shot of Mount Royal, the church, some graffiti. It's got it all. Here's another church in the distance across the street. This was at the subway. I was very curious what this could mean. And I don't think I will ever know why they wrote "fuck you too" on this sign. This was going up at the subway station that I departed at. I just thought this was kind of a neat shot. It's almost Escher-esque, this building. Here's another shot of it. I realized that the lighting was really weird in this picture, so I tried to correct it a bit. Here are some big buildings. I just like the contrast between these very new modern condos and these old walk-up buildings. Two eras of the city at once. Here's the wolf again, in different spray painting technique. In a hurry this time, maybe. Does it say Emily? Emil. This is the target of my travels. A gigantic Holt Renfrew. It's like 5 stories tall. Holt Renfrew, if you don't know, is like the most luxury of all luxury department stores in Canada. You've seen your Saks Fifth. You've seen your Nordstrom's. Maybe you've been to a Barney's in the States. This is kind of like Barney's in that it's a level up from your other luxury department stores. So I went here mostly because I had a conversation with some friends earlier about designer clothes and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of in the mood to see some designer clothes. You might say, Emily, what the fuck? You're like an ultra-leftist. You understand the labor theory of value. You understand the conditions under which these things are made are thoroughly exploitive, and how disconnected the actual labors are from the fruits of their labor, that being exorbitant amounts of money. Why do you like going to these places? Everyone has their weaknesses, I guess. I just think it's cool, you know? These are such immaculate, curated spaces. This is a war zone where they have to convince very rich people or people that want to appear to be very rich to spend money that they may or may not actually have on things they certainly do not need. The battleground for such a place has to be so refined, has to be so thought out. It's just an achievement of like social engineering. The music choices, the positioning, the type of people they hire. It's just a smorgasbord for the visual senses, of which I suppose there's really just one site. But no, it's a really kind of special environment, and I like going to these sorts of stores whenever I travel, because in each city they're a little bit different, and yet there's many things that are the same, like the actual brands themselves. Just the sort of inner struggle between brands within these stores is cool too. To see, you know, who gets their own booth, who gets to be on the upper floors, who gets the spot on the lower floors. How are the different brands comparing and contrasting their designs for each season? Who's trying to innovate? Who's stuck in the wake of others? You can see it all firsthand. This battleground of fashion. It's really cool. Hi. So I headed in. The first floor, I didn't really take any pictures because the first floor was all little departments for each of the major brands, and they sold pretty much just handbags and other accessories and stuff. And because of that, there were security guards everywhere, and I felt really sus trying to take pictures. um, yeah, these cars were like hopelessly stuck. This was like a Canadian tragedy. I have no clue what these people are gonna do. They're like kind of half out into the lane. Also, this one guy, instead of a window, this person just has a bag. It's not good. So as I was heading to Holt, I watched this a little bit and I felt bad, but what could I do? Here's some booby jugs, some jugs with jugs or butts. Yeah, once I got past the first floor, the security presence is much, much smaller, and I felt comfortable taking pictures of specific things that I thought were interesting or funny or whatever, and these I thought were pretty funny. This is a toque that I was very tempted to buy because it matches the color of my scarf quite nicely, and it's by a studio that I quite like, Acne Studios, that make a lot of really cool stuff. So I was like, oh, this would be kind of like something to get, but then I looked at the price tag. I think this was $220 for the toque. In general, the prices here were bad. I mean, it's, you know, luxury designer fashion, so it's going to be like exorbitantly expensive. But you could definitely get better prices online. And certainly you can get better prices secondhand or dead stock or whatever. So I had no real ambitions to buy anything. I just wanted to look around and maybe feel tempted. I like these moon boots too. Moon boots are back. This was like a big deal in the 70s. They're back now. I saw quite a few people wearing these too around Holt. The people watching in Holt is fantastic, by the way, because everybody puts on their Sunday best, knowing that everybody else is going to be hyper judgmental and brand aware. I saw what I think must be some locally famous rappers or maybe locally famous drug dealers that were tatted up all over their body, all over their... The one guy had a shaved head and his whole skull was tattooed. Probably popping some bands in Holt. It's crazy. This is upside down. Why is this upside down? These are some off-white sneakers I saw. They're actually on sale. I was like kind of tempted, but like I treat my shoes so badly because I just can't be bothered to give a shit once I'm wearing them. And Off-White already has like so many like accessories and like weird little production things. I was just gonna ruin them. Plus you can get fake Off-White pretty easily, so it really seemed not worth, but it was cool. This is just an overview of one of the floors that I took when I was going up the escalator. It's just a normal luxury department store, but they're just such cool places to explore. This was on the next floor. They had a whole bunch of these bear bricks. I don't know why bear brick has emerged as like the hype beast toy, but it really has. These giant ones especially you see in stores like this for a lot of money. But yeah, strange. Sure. This was a Alexander Wang top I quite liked. It had this like really fluffy pink material. But there's no way in hell I can wear something like this, and it probably cost around $1,500. I don't remember. But yeah, Alexander Wang stuff is always fun. Balmain had gone even crazier in this direction. You could call it like Barbiecore maybe. You can be anything. Balmain Paris. You can see it's quite expensive. And then they had a model kitted out in this kind of look with this like really kind of kiddie core. And it's funny to me because, you know, forever people have been making jokes that this is what trans women dress like. There's actually kind of some serious discourse around it, like don't shame trans women for dressing like little girls because they never got a chance to dress like little girls. Which, you know, that's pretty valid to me. But at the same time, it's like, do you really want to dress like a little girl when you're an adult? Personally, I don't. But I do like pinks and pastel blues and stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's complicated. But this is a discourse that has existed a lot, on trans Twitter and in these sorts of circles as kind of like a joke about like egg core fashion and stuff. And now a major, extremely expensive designer brand seems to just hopped on the wave and been like, yeah, yeah, you can dress like a little girl. This sweater I quite liked. The price is exorbitant, but I just thought it was really cool. Normally I don't like these kind of 3D effects on sweaters, but here it was so like subtle and spaced out, and it has just kind of that like old world botanical textbook feel. I was into it. Oh, I'm already leaving. So on the way out, I was like, screw it. I'm gonna take some pictures on the first floor. Just because I thought it was so cool. So here's like the Gucci pavilion. There's some clothes, but it's mostly handbags and belts and stuff and other accessories. Actually, I don't even... No, there's no clothes. This is outside. But yeah, it's kind of like this glass enclosure. They had all these potted plants. They had this like checkerboard floor. They had their whole color scheme going. It was like you step into like this little other world. And all the big brands had them. YSL was all glass and black and mirrors, and there was a Chanel one that made me feel like I was going into a princess's castle and made me feel super intimidated, even though there's a pair of Chanel flats that I always like to look at. And then next to here was like the Hermes Store, which is like very old world, wood, kind of like rich person's rustic. They had saddles, they had pictures of their carriages. They were really kind of like playing up their legacy and stuff. Each one totally different. It was really an amazing spectacle. This is probably... We're almost at the end of this episode, so we can take another little detour. Let's see some pictures inside of it, By owner. These aren't helpful. Inside. Yeah, here's the Gucci pavilion from a different season. But you can really see the tile floor. I should have taken more pictures. What the hell do I care? There's the YSL one. It looked a little different. They'd replaced these shelves. There's the Louis V one in the back. Looking, very kind of regal, but still a little playful in that Louis V sense. Here's in the Gucci stuff. They always have like some designer furniture and such too. This is like the sitting area with the shoes. I want to see more of the first floor stuff. So yeah, I think this is like the flagship Holt Renfrew. I think this is where it started. But yeah, dude, this is like, look at, they got the valet parking. They got the personal shopping. They have all sorts of spa. Well, I guess not spa, but, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. How can I not go to a place like this? I just gotta know. Then I saw Hooters. I was leaving. I saw Hooters. And I took a picture of the Hooters. This is like a 6-story Hooters. I don't know what the hell is going on here. I will admit, I've been to Hooters before. I went with my friends Haley and Michael. Shoutouts them. Because according to Haley, she grew up in the South. She grew up in... what's that state called? Tennessee? That was a brain fart. She grew up in Tennessee. And apparently down there, they just eat Hooters often. It's just kind of like a normal restaurant in like the rotation, the way that we would go to like an Eastside Mario's or a Kelsey's. The fact that it's like a restaurant, people are just kind of indifferent to it. Whereas here, it's kind of a novelty and silly, and you kind of go as like a joke, or maybe you are a pervert. Anyway, so we went because Haley was feeling nostalgic. And it was actually really tasty. The wings there are seriously really, really good. Putting aside every other thing you might think about it, the wings kick ass. Then I saw a really big tsujiri, and I was like, it's cold out. I could go for a hojicha latte. And I got it, and I had one sip. This was maybe 4 hours ago, and I thought, wow, I am dumb. It is after 6 p.m. Why am I drinking this? I am not going to sleep. um, but I drank it anyways because it was delicious. And that's probably why I've been making videos for the past 3 hours talking nonstop about things. Thanks, caffeine. So they had all these little cakes and stuff. I didn't get one today, but the hojicha cakes are always great. I'd never seen this one before. This one looks really nice. I don't think I'd seen this Mont Blanc of matcha either. I've had this yuzu cheesecake a few times before. It's fantastic. And I had the hojicha shortcake. Sarah, shout out Sarah. I got it for my birthday last year. It was so good. I saw this anarchy symbol on the telephone booth. And I thought, hell yeah. I saw this building. I don't know what it was. It looked weird. And then, as I was leaving the subway to go back home, I saw somewhere someone had been busking with a recorder. And as a recorder fan, I appreciated that. All right, that's it. Yeah, I've been making videos for like 3 hours now, talking nonstop. I am going to do something else and hopefully go to bed at a reasonable hour. Okay, that's all. Bye-bye.